There's a reason why the time that you're posting is actually killing your reach. So let's talk about it. Now, first and foremost, you might be in a situation where you're posting at 8 a.m., 12, or after work, because these are generally put out there as the best times to post according to really everyone on LinkedIn. But one thing to think about is if everyone is posting at the same time, then your content's actually competing with hundreds of other posts in your audience's feed. And as a result, your content could get buried and giving it ultimately less reach. And this can be a peak time problem because you're competing for the attention, and as a result, you might be losing. So best times can work, but it doesn't necessarily mean they always work. There's a few different things that you need to consider, because more competition can actually equate to less reach because your post is one of hundreds in the feed, and then your algorithm's got to figure out which one to show and which one to prioritize based on posting at these optimal times. So the main thing to really think about as the real headline here is think about when your audience is specifically active, and also consider when your competitors aren't necessarily posting. And this could be arguably what we'd call a blue ocean time, right? Low competition and high visibility, because when you post in a blue ocean time, your content's not going to be competing with hundreds of other posts. It's going to stand out more, and the algorithm has an opportunity to prioritize it even more. And this is a strategy no one else really talks about. So here's how you can find some optimal posting times in 3 steps. The first one is to analyze your audience's activity. When are they actually on LinkedIn? This is arguably the most important component. The second is then to identify low competition windows. When are they active but your competitors aren't posting? And then the third step is to test and measure, right? Post at different times and track your reach. Ultimately, I have to emphasize testing and measuring is always going to be the number one thing. As much as I can say whatever I say in this video, it always comes down to the data. So you've got to test different times, see which one ultimately works best or which ones ultimately work best, and then be led by the data over and above anything else. But let's talk about some of this in a bit more detail, where the first step is really to analyze your audience's activity. So if you've got a LinkedIn company page, go to LinkedIn Analytics and it shows you when your audience is most active. If you don't have a company page, then manually track when your audience engages with your posts. Now look at your last 20 posts. When did you get the most likes and comments in the first hour? Look for patterns. Are they most active at 7 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock? This tells you when your audience is actually on LinkedIn. The second step is to identify low competition windows. So look at when your competitors are posting, go to their profiles, check their post timestamps. And if everyone's posting at 8 a.m., that could be a red ocean time with high competition. So try and find times when your audience is active, but your competitors aren't posting. So for example, if everyone's posting at 8 a.m., why don't you try 6:30 a.m. or 9:30 a.m.? These could be blue ocean times where there's low competition, but still great visibility. So I can give you some examples here, right? Early morning, you got 6 till 7 a.m. before the 8 a.m. rush. Your audience is starting to check LinkedIn, but most people haven't actually posted yet. Then you got mid-morning, which is at 9:30 to 10:30 after the 8 a.m. rush. So the feed's starting to clear out and your post has an opportunity to stand out. You then got early afternoon, 1 to 2, between lunch and the end of the day. People are checking LinkedIn, but not as many people are posting. And then you got 7 till 9 when B2B buyers are browsing LinkedIn at home. So again, lower competition. These are arguably blue ocean times, but more importantly than anything, test them, which brings me on to this point. Post at 3 to 4 different times over 2 weeks. So for example, test 6:30, 9:30, 1:30, 8 o'clock, and then track your reach and engagements for each time. LinkedIn Analytics will show you your impressions and your engagement rate. So identify which time gives you the highest reach, and that's arguably going to be your optimal posting time. Once you find it, stay consistent with that time for at least 30 days, and you'll find that your reach is going to increase. And so over week 1, post at time A, which is going to be classified on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then post at time B on a Tuesday and Thursday. And then during week 2, post at time C on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then post at time D on Tuesday and Thursday. Compare the results, which time had the highest average reach. That's going to then become your optimal posting time, and you can use that consistently. And this can work so well because B2B buyers browse LinkedIn at home between 7 and 9. They're often catching up on their feed, they're engaging with content, but competition can be lower because a lot of people post during working hours. The evening feed can then start to be a little bit lighter. So when you post at 7 or 8, your post can actually have a better chance to dominate the feed. It can get seen, it can get engagement, it can get reach, and this can be one of the most underutilized approaches here. And timing really matters because the algorithm decides in the first 60 minutes whether to extend your post to a larger audience. So when you post at low competition times, your post gets more visibility in the first hour, more people will see it, more people will engage, and higher first hour engagement signals to the algorithm that your post is valuable, and that extends your reach. And this is why posting at blue ocean times doubles or triples your reach. Now, some of the mistakes you do want to avoid is mistake number one is posting at the same time as everyone else, because 8 a.m. is the most competitive time. So you want to avoid this. The second mistake is not testing different times, because you're not going to actually know the optimal time unless you test. And the third mistake is changing your time constantly. Once you find your optimal time, aim to be consistent for at least 30 days and then see where you end up off the back of that. And what should then happen is your reach will double or triple. You're going to get more engagement and you'll stop competing and start dominating within your niche. So again, same content, better timing can equal better results. And this can be the power of thinking about your timing. And this is a small part of the type of thing that we cover here at Influx as a part of our agency, where we work with our clients to generate qualified leads through LinkedIn on autopilot. So if that's something of interest to you, I've left a link in the description box below which explains to you how we go about our strategy, which ultimately underpins how we then guarantee our clients at least $50,000 in net new pipeline within 90 days or less. So if that's of interest to you, I've left a link in the description box below of this video. If you found this particular video helpful as well, please do take a second to hit that like button, leave a thoughtful comment, share it with someone you know, and also subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.